ready with me as we discuss this person's video. So let me show you.
Jack, it's your turn. Name Jack S. that is directly related to the state of Idaho Attorney General's office. That's my favorite part.
Okay, so first of all, she's starting out with a complete lie. I stopped the video before she got into some more of her lies, but Jack Showalter is not related to Carl Klein. He's an assistant attorney general in Idaho. Jack Showalter is not related to him. His parents are friends with Carl Klein and his wife, and as such, then of course Jack knows Carl's family and knows his children and is friends with them. So he is not related. In fact, Jack's family isn't even originally from Idaho. They don't have relatives in Idaho. His parents both moved to Boise to start medical practices after they went to medical school. They both hail from completely different states than Idaho. So I wanted to get that out of the way. I've said that before in other videos. Now, I don't want to dox them, so I'm not going to post the information that shows where their families are from. But that's where I'm different too. I don't dox, unlike some of you. But let's continue.
The same Jack that has also been caught lying several times. The same Jack that was one of the last people, I think it actually was, the last person to have seen Maddie and Kaylee alive.
Okay, so I would love to know where she's getting that Jack has lied several times. I'd love to know where she's finding that he's lied. And also, Jack was not the last person to see Maddie and Kaylee alive, okay? We know for a fact that inmate 163214 was the last person who saw them alive because he's who killed them. And then also before inmate 163214, we know that Bethany and Dylan were up in Kaylee's room talking with Kaylee and Maddie after they got home from the Grub truck. So Jack S. is definitely not the last person who saw them alive. So that is a flat out lie on your part. Chicken Shore or whatever your name is. Chicken poop, chicken shit.
He is also one of the first people to be cleared.
Actually, no. He was not one of the first people to be cleared. And if you had read the documents, which I'm pretty sure most of you that post these videos full of misinformation have not read the documents, you will see that they even put a police tail on him in Boise, Idaho. So let me show you that from the documents. Okay, here's that document, and it talks about on December 3rd of 2022, they conducted surveillance in Boise, Ada County, done on a potential homicide suspect identified as, and of course they block everything out, but we know from piecing everything together in the documents that this was Showalter. So no, he was not the first one cleared, and he was only cleared after a thorough investigation.
If you're unaware of who Jack is a very angry young man. In fact, he was in the same frat as Ethan, but he ended up getting kicked out because he has rage issues.
Actually, no, he was not in the same frat as Ethan. He was in the same fraternity as Maddie's boyfriend, Jake, and he never got kicked out either. He was still a Delta Tau Delta. Now remember, Ethan was a Sigma Chi. So Jack S, Delta Tau Delta. But let's look at his interview with police. So you'll see in this interview that he is an active member in his fraternity. He had lived at the fraternity house, paid rent and his dues, and then he had moved out, and he still paid dues, which gives him access to be at the fraternity for a meal 1 day a week. And it gives him access to the chapter house for the meetings that are conducted every Monday. And in this interview, he also stated that he hangs out at his own apartment or at fraternity functions.
He gets caught putting carcasses on another frat's lawn. He is an avid hunter, so he knows how to carve things. There have been several statements by a lot of people who will tell you that Jack made them feel uncomfortable. Jack had aggression towards women. Women didn't want to be around Jack.
Well, that is actually not true. The carcass incidents were back in 2017. I have the articles to show you, and I have shown this several times before over on YouTube also. But people like yourself that don't actually like to look anything up or check out rumors before they spout them, seem to be immune to actual factual information, and you guys just love to continue spouting your bullshit. So I will show you those articles. And also, Jack, yes, had anger issues, but it was always getting into fights with men. He did not have aggression towards women. Women were not uncomfortable around him. I think you're getting him mixed up with Colby, who was the one they were saying was very handsy and was at Corner Club getting aggressive towards women. But Jack has admitted that he has gotten into fights with other guys, other fraternity guys, and he did get into a fight with someone in Boise last year as well. But he had an ex-girlfriend he was trying to get back with, and that's who he spent his time trying to work it out with. He was not like trying to get with other women or aggressive around other women. So again, maybe check into sources that you're getting information from, but let me show you this information from the documents. So here's one of the articles from the carcass situation, and I don't know if you can see the date, but I highlighted it for you, and it was February 15th, 2017. Now, they had updated in January of 2023, and that's because people had been trying to claim that it was happening again around the same time as the Idaho case, and that was not true. And this was back in 2017. Jack Showalter was a high school student in Boise. It wasn't him at University of Idaho doing this. And here's another article. This one also dated February of 2017, February 14th to be exact, and also talked about how on January 20th of 2017, a man had left a dead animal also, and he admitted to doing it on a dare. And in that person, they caught him, and he was not charged. But none of these instances were Jack Showalter. That was another rumor that was unfounded that people like you keep wanting to spread instead of doing due diligence first. And then here is that part of the interview that talks about, yes, he had been in fights. It had been with fraternity men, and none of his fights or aggression had been towards women. And yeah, he had been banned from Corner Club for a while, but was allowed back in there. And again, he had never been kicked out of his fraternity. He didn't leave carcasses on people's porches. He didn't assault women. So please just stop with the misinformation.
Grub truck footage will prove that. You will see the three of them go together. I think it's pretty obvious, in my opinion, that Maddie is more intoxicated than Kaylee is. And when they go to the food truck, as soon as they get close to the food truck, Jack just kind of distances himself as if he knows he's going to be on camera. In fact, while they're at the group truck, he's not even standing next to them. If you watch it, it very clearly looks like Kaylee and Maddie actually don't want anything to do with Jack at this point. They're like, you know, as soon as they get their food, they leave. They don't look at him. They don't say goodbye. They showed up with this man and they left without him. But Jack's first statement, he will tell you he walks with them, and he said goodbye to them. They never turn around to say goodbye. These women played the how do I get out of this and leave this person as nice as I could. And they did it as nice as they could. And Jack could not handle that. Again, this is a man who has rage.
Okay, so let's talk about that. He ran into Maddie at Corner Club. Maddie was who he knew. He didn't know Kaylee. And he was asked by Maddie to go with them to John's Alley. So that's why he was hanging out with them. Okay, he wasn't just tagging along and being a creep. Now, it does appear that when their plans changed and they wanted to go to the Grub truck instead of John's Alley, then he still kind of just stayed with them. And, you know, how people play it by ear, because in case they were still wanting to go to another bar, that's what he was doing. But also, he waves goodbye to them. You can see it in the Grub truck footage. So it's not like they just like ran off and ignored him and got into the car. Yes, they did get into the car, but you can see as he goes by the car, there's an interaction where he's waving goodbye to them. So I'm going to show you that, and then I'll show you in the documents where it says that Maddie is who invited him to go to John's Alley. And if you search through the documents further, you will also see where other people that know them acknowledge that Maddie had asked him to go along to John's Alley with them. So right here, as he walks past Joe and goes by their car, you'll see his arm go up and he waves to them. And then this is from the other footage, and you can see they run to the car, they get in the car, and then you'll see him come walking up here in a second. And you'll see right here his arm goes up and he waves goodbye to them. And then here's the document where it talks about how Maddie invited him to go along to John's Alley with them. And then they went to the Grub truck.
Not only did he say he was intoxicated, this is after 2 o'clock in the morning now. So are you not tired either, Jack? You can drive 5+ hours after partying, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so here she's repeating another rumor. He did not drive 5 hours after the bar and the Grub truck that night. That was a completely unfounded rumor, a lie that someone claimed he went to his parents' cabin, and that's all because a psychic claimed that she saw Hoodie Guy going to a cabin. That's where that rumor started from, one of the crackpot psychics. But he went to his apartment, and he did not leave town until Monday the 14th. And that is documented in the police interview. So let me show you that. So you'll see in this document here, he talks about how he woke up the morning of the 13th, around 10 a.m., watched NFL football, went over to Floyd's Cannabis. Also how he went out and looked up the street because people had started contacting him about something going on. So he was home at his Queen Road apartment that day. He did not drive home to a cabin. And this is the interview where he talks about how he drove home Monday morning around noon and he went home through Ontario, Oregon. And, you know, I don't blame him because it's open rangeland down through that highway in Idaho to get from Moscow to Boise. So it's better to go down and through the interstate in Oregon. But he did not leave until Monday.
You are a man of many talents. Now, you guys, while at the food truck, it is very important to watch everyone's mannerisms because multiple people, including somebody Jack is talking to and also a girl in a white coat, they all just look at the same thing at the same time on their phone.
Oh, not this again. I did a video about this a long time ago on YouTube, and guess what? It's young people, okay? Young people are glued to their phones. People were looking at their phones. They were texting people. They were sharing clips of funny things. They were looking different things up all at various times, okay? If you really want me to rehash these Grub truck clips, I can, but I think enough people have more brain cells than you do to understand that people possibly looking at their phone at the same time is nothing nefarious. It's a coincidence. How many people were out there? Okay. They were not all watching the same thing at exactly the same time. And if you actually look at the footage, like you claim, you will see that people are looking at different things on their phones and looking up at different times and typing things, and get a life. Okay. The one guy you said he was talking to, that's Joe Taco. He's already had his life ruined by people like you because they contacted his job and he got fired. And then he got another job, and then people contacted that job, all because they were making false claims that he was involved with the murders along with Jack S. So maybe stop being desperate hoe wives trying to ruin the lives of these young people. And if you feel so strongly about true crime, why not try to solve actual cold cases? Because there's a lot of cold cases out there that need help. Instead of actively trying to destroy the lives of these young people that are in the periphery of a solved case, a case where we know who committed the crime and that person admitted their guilt, okay?